In a small African village where the roads were dusty and life was full of struggle, lived a woman named Ngozi. She had no wealth, no husband, no education, and no comfort. All she had was love, sacrifice, and one precious son named Chinedu. Every morning before the sun rose, Ngozi would wake up, tie her wrapper tightly, and walk to the farm. Her hands were rough from cutting firewood, her back bent from carrying heavy loads, and her feet cracked from walking barefoot on hot soil. Yet every evening she returned home with a smile because her son was still in school. She would call him gently, place a small bowl of food in his hands and say, "My son, take this food to school. Even if we are poor, education will make you great." One day, young Chinedu looked at her with tears in his eyes and said, "Mama, my friends laugh at me because I have no shoes." Ngozi touched his face softly, wiped his tears and replied, "Let them laugh today. Tomorrow they will respect you." She sold firewood, farm produce, and anything she could find. When the village teacher came and said, "Madam Ngozi, school fees is due. If not paid, your son will stop coming to school," Ngozi did something that shocked everyone. She removed her only wrapper, held it with trembling hands and said, "Take this. My son must not stop school." That wrapper was her dignity, her pride, her protection, but she traded it for her son's future. At night, Chinedu would study under candlelight while Ngozi watched him quietly. One night he said, "Mama, when I become rich, I will build you a big house. You will never suffer again." Ngozi laughed softly and replied, "I don't need big house. I only want you to remember me." Years passed. Chinedu finished school with excellence. He left the village for the city, carrying his mother's prayers on his head. The village celebrated him, and Ngozi cried tears of joy, believing her suffering had finally ended. In the city, Chinedu became successful. He wore expensive suits, drove luxury cars, and lived in a big mansion. People respected him, called him Sir, and admired his wealth. He forgot hunger, he forgot poverty, and slowly he forgot his mother. Ngozi would call him with excitement, her voice full of pride. "My son, I heard you bought a big house. I am proud of you." But Chinedu would reply, annoyed and busy, "Mama, I am busy. I will call you later." He never called back. Days turned to months and months into years. The mother who carried him in her womb now carried loneliness in her heart. One day, Ngozi decided to visit her son. She wanted to see the big house he promised her. She wanted to hug the boy she raised with sweat and tears. She tied her old wrapper, wore her worn-out slippers, and traveled to the city with a small bag. When she reached the mansion gate, the security guard stopped her. "Old woman, who are you looking for?" She smiled shyly and said, "I am looking for my son, Chinedu." Chinedu came out with his friends, dressed in fine clothes, smelling of success. One of his friends laughed and asked, "Is that your village woman?" Chinedu felt ashamed. He looked at his mother and turned cold. "I don't know her. She must be a mad woman." Ngozi froze. Her heart shattered. She stepped forward and said with a trembling voice, "My son, I am your mother." Chinedu replied angrily, "You are not my mother. My mother is dead." The security pushed her away. She stumbled, but she stood up slowly. She did not shout. She did not curse. She just turned around and walked away with tears rolling down her cheeks. The woman who sold her wrapper for his school fees, he denied her for pride. As rain began to fall, Ngozi walked alone on the road, whispering prayers for the son who denied her. She walked back with a broken heart, carrying the pain of a mother forgotten by the child she gave everything. Tomorrow, you may be rich. You may live in big houses and drive expensive cars, but never forget who carried you when you had nothing. because the day you forget your mother is the day you forget who you truly are.